Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm outdoors. As you all know, I am an advocate for pausing your day and going to sit in nature and enjoying the sun, enjoying the air, enjoying the trees, the leaves, the oxygen that it brings, the beauty thereof, quieting everything around you, just getting to a place of silence, a place of stillness, so that you can hear, be, just be present. Just be present. So I shared a post this morning, and it was an actual ad during that was posted and published during slavery times, and it was an ad advertising Negroes. It literally was entitled Negroes for Sale. And it had different categories and, you know, which Negroes were for sale and how many they had and what age group and what they can do and all of those things. And I've been getting a lot of different responses, a lot of different comments and reactions to the ad. A lot of people are in disbelief. A lot of people are angry, sad, taken aback, speechless, don't know how to feel, just kind of stuck. Because, as one person said in the comments, it's one thing to see a depiction of it in entertainment and movies. But it's another thing to be faced with what actually was occurring. Just a glimpse. Because, of course, we don't know the full story. We probably never will. Because Lord knows, history books will never tell you the full story. So much of our history has been extracted from this country's history. It's not even funny. In fact, I don't even understand how they can even label it as history and even, you know, promote it as such when it's not complete. Same thing with religion. That's the same people that extracted our history and only posted and shared and wrote what the version that they wanted to write and share is the same people that did the same thing to religion and faith. They extracted what they wanted to extract. They put in what they wanted to put in. They've made shiny the things that they wanted to make shiny. And then they sold it as a truth for the people to believe. Our history has never been told completely and fully. Never. Unfortunately, right now today, you probably only have a handful and probably literally on one hand a number of elders that are still here and still able to tell the tales of that time, even in the latter years of that time, or wrote books or wrote stories or told stories that were later, written and all of those things. And a lot of times they didn't share the story because, number one, they would be punished for speaking. As we all know, I shared an image a couple weeks ago regarding women, the women of Africa, our ancestors that were brought over here forcibly, and all they knew was their way of communicating the spirit and getting things done, especially the women, for sure, because the women were known as the medicine women, the ones that was holding it down for the family as far as healing and spiritual work and things like that, while the men guarded, protected, hunted, all of those things, The women had ways of protecting, and one of the ways that they protected was by spiritual work, spell work, conjures, rituals, things of that nature, which was later labeled as black magic, witchcraft, and things of that nature, which is not any of the sort whatsoever. Not whatsoever. It's crazy how Society wants to pick and choose what they want to call evil or good when both evil and good are present in the Bible. Both evil and good are present in the Bible. Okay? Both evil and good are present in the Bible. And guess what? Things that we will label as evil were done by God, i.e., the swallowing up of a city, the burning up of a nation, the flooding of the country, of the world. We could call those evil as well, but they weren't considered evil because God did it. That's what I'm saying. There's a selective remnant of history that the people before us decide they want to share, and then and call good, call light, call truth. But then when we start speaking about who we are and where we come from, and we call it good, even the what they deem black magic or whatever the case, even that category is seen as dark and bad when it was only used to do what? The same thing that God did in the Bible. The same reason that God smote people and all of those things in the Bible, to protect, to bring honor to, and to secure and to maintain relevance for, and to hold the truth of, and all of those things. The same reason why our ancestors did it. Because that's what they knew to do. To protect. And it was always done in love. So, when forcibly brought over to this country, that's all our ancestors knew. Was how to protect. And in the way that they knew it. They knew to get it done. So, to prevent that from happening, they put, the colonizers, they put blades in the women's mouths that would press down on their tongues so tight that if they slightly moved it, it would pierce their tongue. And they strapped this blade around their heads to keep it in place. Okay? Star? I have the dogs out here, so. Star, come here. So that's what they use to maintain, quote unquote, order or control of our people, to prevent us from actually exercising our right to protect us and our families. How we knew to do so. Okay? We were not introduced to evil until evil came knocking at our front door. That's when we were introduced to evil, what is known as evil. We were not introduced to manipulation until manipulation came knocking at our front door. And we were shown manipulation and control, domination, all of those things. And we were shown that when we were forced by gun over to this country. Okay? With that being said, to maintain control, they took our men and they raped our men and they cut off their genitals and they, chained them down and they treated them like they were animals just to take away their manhood. Because we all know, let's be honest, our men are strong. Our men are full of brawn. They will protect to the death their families, their children, their spouses, their villages, their lands. They did, and they would have. So in order to state control, to, have their way and be able to manipulate the way that they wanted to, they had to show dominance. And that's the only way that they were able to, by batter and abuse. Okay? By emasculating. Same thing with the women. They took and they raped the women, beat, used the women, our elders and ancestors. The children, they used the children as trading cards and all kind of stuff. It's sickening. Okay. So I shared a post of the ad, and it listed everything pertaining to, it listed at that time, and I think it was 1848, which was just under 20 years before the actual June 19th, 1865, where the last slave was free. That is what they endured. That is what they endured. Because of the manipulation control, the mind control, the taking of knowledge and information and obscuring it and taking out, extracting pertinent knowledge and information and putting in what they want to put in and all of this stuff. That's been going on again. That's been going on for as long as we know. So our full story, we will never know. But I tell you what, one of the things that they have passed on, that they taught was wrong, is to call on our elders, our ancestors. That's one thing that they said was wrong. You know why? Because it's our ancestors that will actually protect and cover, for sure. But see, they can only do so much here in the physical. In the spirit, they have full reign. Full reign. I say this all the time. Even in Christianity, the Holy Ghost is big, is known, is felt. Holy Ghost is depicted to be one that was left after Christ died and ascended. And he left his spirit to remain, to lead, to guide, to be with us, to comfort, and all of those things. That very connotation is what happens when your elders pass away. We come from spirit, you all. I need y'all to understand this. We are not human first. We are spirit first. We come from spirit. And when our parents conceive, we go into a being and start to develop physically inside of our mothers. Okay? And then we go through the portal that is our mother, our spiritual portal that is our mother. And we are birthed into this realm, okay? With a physical body. Still holding and possessing the original spirit from whence we came. That spirit dwells in our heart. Okay? So to try to analyze spiritual matters from a mental capacity, you'll never get it. Because your brain developed after your heart did. Don't believe me? Go check out biology. Your brain developed after your heart did. Your heart was already here. Why? Because that's where your spirit dwells. In your heart space. Okay? That's where your before this life thoughts and memories dwell. That's where your dreams come from. That's where those deja vus come from. You've never lived that before, so you think. That's where all of that storage is. From your heart space. From that spirit that was you and is you while yet in this body. But understand, when we leave this earth, I understand grief is real. Grief is very real. Yes, we are sad when our loved ones are no longer physically here in this body and in this life, where we can actually reach out and touch them, talk to them and hug them and things like that. But know that to be absent from the body is not to be dead and gone. No, no, no. Your spirit goes back to where it once came. Okay? From spirit to physical, back to spirit. Spirit never dies. Spirit never dies. I don't care what's been told to you. Spirit never dies. With that being said, think about your ancestors. Have you ever thought about why society is so anti-ancestor memory? Why society is so anti-venerating your ancestors? This is your family. These are the ones that had your back. These are the ones that were here to change your diapers, to, you know, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, your great-great-great-great-great-great. Those people were here. Those people lived through, endured through, suffered through, survived through all of what was mentioned on that ad, and so much more. And so much more. Things that we could never even fathom. They did and went through all of that. Some of them, grandparents, great-grandparents, took their children. Hello, Harriet Tubman and all of the slaves that she helped to free, took their children and ran, escaped death by the skin of their nose just to get their children to a place of safety. If that ain't strength and endurance and resilience, I don't know what is. We want to talk about thugs today, baby. The thugs today could never, in comparison to our ancestors of old, they could never. Talk about a thug. Those were the real ones. Gangsters, those were the real ones. Would deal with and do whatever they needed to do and put up with whatever they needed to put up with to ensure the safety of their families. That's the soul of our people. That is the heart of our people. Love governed us. Nothing else. Not hate. Love. Not revenge. Love. Love has always governed us. Has always guided us, led us, motivated us. Love. Even in a world of hate for us, we still exude love. We still have a capacity to smile. Even in the face of anger, hate, malice. Love. That is the soul of our people. That's what was taught to us. That's what fueled them to do what they did. They did to survive the way that they did. They took those stripes on their backs so that we don't have to. Today, let me tell you something. No, your life may not be what you desire all it to be. No, you may not have all of the money that you desire. No, you may not have that big, huge mansion or mini mansion or that Rolls Royce or that whatever. No, you may not have all the food and the groceries in your house. No, you may not have, all of your this and all of your that. But what you do have is still far greater than what they had. Far greater. If you got a working bathroom and working plumbing, baby, you are far greater. You are in a far greater position than your elders and your ancestors. If you got more than one room in your house, you are in a far greater position than your ancestors. If you are able to walk, talk, freely drive, go anywhere you want to today, you are in a far greater position than your ancestors. And to know that it was because of them that we're able to sit. I'm able to sit in my backyard every day, several times a day, uninterrupted, unhindered, unbothered, minding my business, without the fear that some person is going to come and tell me that I can't be out here. Without the fear that some person is not going to come and take me and strap me to a tree by my neck. I have the freedom to do this because my elders, my ancestors went through and endured what they went through and endured. Yes, we need to know. Even if it's but a glimpse, we need to face our reality, our truth. History can never be untold. History can never be erased. Why? Because it lives on. Let me tell you something. Some of the conditioning, unfortunately, that our ancestors had to endure and go through, they had to compromise themselves. They had to give in to the quote-unquote master of the house so that they can survive. They did what they had to do to live. Unfortunately, that same mentality has stuck with us from generation to generation. So today, you see a lot of people walking around freely, but mentally, emotionally, they are bound still. Still. And although it may not look like slavery, we may not see chains and we may not see nooses all the time. But I can tell you something. In this society, there's still many forms of slavery. It's just subtle. We don't pay attention to it enough because we're too busy being privileged. We want to talk about the white people being privileged. Some of us black folks are very privileged too. Unappreciative, disrespectful, dishonorable. And the moment you mention an ancestor to some of y'all, it's like, that's witchcraft. That's this, that. That's your grandmother. That's your grandfather. Ain't nothing witchcraft about it. That's your those people's blood run through your vein. Don't do that. Don't be disrespectful. Those people fought for you to stand here and call them and the calling of them and the remembering of them disrespectful and black magic. Are you kidding me? You're shunning yourself. Come on now. We got to break the chains off of our minds. We have been mind controlled for too long, y'all. Too long. And I'm always saying this. Do you know who you are? Do you know who you are? And you want to think. You think that their lives and their spirits are not still here. In 2020, my mother celebrated her 60th birthday, and our family had my family had a barbecue cookout outdoors. That was in the thick of pandemic. And so we had to, 6-foot distance and all of those things. So we had an outdoor barbecue for her. They live in Mississippi, my mother and my father. That's the state where my mother originates from. Okay? Now, as I'm driving from Georgia to Mississippi to attend this party, when I tell you I'm in the car, and if you know me, you know that as I drive, I got a playlist. I do everything to music. So I'm driving and I'm cruising and I'm singing, and I'm driving, cruising, and singing. Next thing you know, I cross Mississippi lines. I'm still driving, I'm still singing, and I'm still cruising. Until all of a sudden, my energy is off. I'm talking about Snatch Me Clean Out my song. And the more into Mississippi I drove, the heavier I got. To the point where I was almost suffocating. If you all know me, then you know I am a highly intuitive person. I can look at someone and I can read your story from top to bottom without you opening your mouth. I am a very, 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 very skilled intuitive. Okay? So when I get around certain energies and stuff, I pick it up instantly. And I can tell exactly what it is. I'm steady driving. And the more into Mississippi I get, the heavier my heart is. To the point where I start to feel so sad. It's like I'm surrounded by sadness. In my car, it was so thick that I had to pull over. I could not continue to drive. I had to pull over. Because I stepped out and I wailed. I wept. I looked at the trees around me and I said, my God, the spirits are still here. Our ancestors' blood is soaked in the soil. Their tears, their sweat is soaked in the soil. And we just go about, la 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 la. Never remembering the sacrifice that they made. Never understanding what it was that they left. What they gave up. Some of them was stripped from their children, never to be seen again. Their children was traded off to other enslavers in other plantations that they knew not of. They couldn't write, they couldn't read, they couldn't do anything. And the moment that they were found to learn how to do this or be taught how to do this, they were killed. Why? Because knowledge is power. That's why I keep asking, do you know who you are? Do you know who you are? We walking around here, but a lot of us are the walking dead. Sleepwalking. You have the freedom to do this and then the third. Your physical body do, but your mind, your spirit, your intellect is gone because you too busy under mind control. You too busy letting media tell you what you are, who you are. Letting some religions and what it beliefs tell you who you are, what you are. Letting some of your people who still don't know who they are for real tell you who you are, what you are. You got to study to show yourself approved. You got to find out who you are so that when you learn who you are, you can stand in it and you can be who you are supposed to be and not who you were told to be, who you were trained to be, who you were programmed and conditioned to be. But first you got to acknowledge whose blood runs through your veins. You got to acknowledge who sacrificed and who went above and beyond the call of duty to ensure that you have life and have it more abundantly. Star, come here. Come here. You need to understand. You need to understand. This is not just about you. They passed the torch to you, not for you to forget them. Not for you to just skip on down the yellow brick road as if you brought yourself here. They deserve to be respected. They deserve to be honored. They deserve to be remembered and venerated. Period. Always remember, spirits never die. Never. Never. You are surrounded. You are being protected by them and you don't even understand. Because they love you. As they did when they were walking this earth. Okay? I need y'all to remember that. See what the reality is. Face the reality. Face it. Face it. Someone commented on under the picture and said, I hope this is not real. Unfortunately, it is. And then she went on to say, it's crazy that this is not mentioned in history. Well, of course it's not. It's not going to be mentioned because then they will look like the bad guys that they actually are. Of course it's not. Why do people hide information? Why would people go so far as to hide information as hard as they are doing? Why does a child lie? Why does somebody hide the truth from another person? Come on now. We got to use our senses. We got to use our common sense. We got to use our spiritual sense. Seriously. Tap into yourself and know who you are. I love you. I mean it. There's absolutely positively nothing you can do about it. Don't you even try it.